computer users asking, what inspired the idea of office hours? A personal thing, the whole concept of a team office hours is really cool, and I'm wondering if anything in particular inspired the concept. I'm not asking about the Resonance specifically, but it's fine if you have answer for Resonance. It's actually been a while back. Like, it's something like that some team members brought in because it's been a few years. Like, I think it's like something that like was brought by like back when Gaines used to be on the team, and I think Purple Prime also like kind of suggested because like some of the companies like they worked for, they would oftentimes do like office hours where it's like you can sort of like ask anything and you can kind of communicate, and it's a good way because it's like I'm like in my office at these hours because that's something like that like for example universities will also do or companies do it, where instead of people just bothering you all the time with questions everywhere, like at any time, and you kind of have to be constantly on call. If you, for example, at university and you're a teacher, like you might be working on some stuff, and do like or having like classes and other things, but students, they might need a time, to visit you, like because they need like they need something, like maybe they have like an issue or something, or maybe like they need to like um give some work or something, homework or whatever stuff. So there's like a set time where like I'm at my office and I'm like open. I can like come here answer questions or like just do whatever is needed. And it's kind of inspired, from that kind of like approach that's used in those companies. And we're like, we can do the same for the community. So instead of like us being kind of hounded like everywhere with like random questions at like random times, there's a dedicated time and place for doing those. And the way like people get used to like when the questions happen, when the answers happen. And we can direct people to it. So instead of like just being like kind of constantly on call answering questions, like we're like bring it bring it over like to these office hours. If it's gonna be quiet, it's gonna be quiet, but like we're gonna be here for like at least an hour, answer some questions and or track whatever people want to talk about. And we kind of like pioneered it. Like some of the team members like were like starting kind of experimenting with it a bit. And then eventually, like, I wanted to like do my own as well, but it took me a while to just figure out like when and get enough like free mental kind of bandwidth to be able to do it. To get started. I did like want to, specifically for Resonance, I did like want to like do like a format that actually didn't end up like doing. But it was like a while back, like I was, just in a Discord call with Cyro, and I was like, playing Minecraft, but like we just kind of started talking about like cool technical stuff, and it was kind of fun, just kind of talking about cool technical things, just like while chilling, and playing a game. And I was like, I kind of would want to do more of that. And that's kind of like was my idea, like we could be like playing some games or something, and like then answering questions from chat, but like it didn't end up happening that way. I don't know if there's something like people would like to see, like if I was instead of being in Resonite, I would be like playing some game like and something maybe chill, or maybe not. Like it could be like a. There's actually another thing that kind of gave me like an idea. Is like I really love the modern Doom games. Well, not the old ones, but I love the like modern Doom games like Doom 2016, Eternal, and Dark Ages, and the game director for those games, Hugo Martin, he does these regular streams where he essentially just plays the game, but he's also answering, questions from the chat. And it's kind of funny because, like, like it can be like the game gets like super intense, and like, and you can kind of tell, how intense the game is from how complex his answers are, like sometimes like it was kind of more exploratory part of the game, and he'll just be like, like, oh blah blah blah, and we did this and this and this, and like we did this thing and then this thing, this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and then like he'll be like, in the middle of a fight, it's like really heavy, and like his co-host, asking a question from chat, and he's like, yeah, we do that, and it's like, it's like completely like focused on the game, but it's just kind of funny. Um, so I was like thinking about like doing something like that. I would want to like implement like the desktop face tracking first because I would also like use Resonate for overlay so you could still see avatar at least overlaid on top of the game, and maybe try that format a bit. So like it could be like interesting, kind of more kind of chill. Um, So maybe that's something like one can experiment with, like, for this one. But also, like, every team member kind of has their own kind of, style for it. So, but like, the basic idea is like, we are available at this time. You can come, you can ask anything. We'll try to answer to our best ability. So, that's pretty much, like the core of it, and kind of comes from these like office hours that like, happen in physical locations as well. But we're sort of doing it virtually. But if you'd like to like see like, different types of format, like, maybe like different style of games, like let me know. Like I kind of would want to experiment a little bit more with the format.